telling you for some time now, the Democrats' new strategy to try to get an edge on Republicans is to try to create TikTok moments, viral video moments that will ricochet all over social media. And that was on full display today when Trump cabinet officials stepped into the ring. In the first round, we have Rosa, the Purple People Eater DeLauro, versus HHS Secretary and Muscle Man, RFK Jr.
You talk about closing the generally recognized as safe or GRAS loophole, which allows food companies to determine the safety of their own ingredients, something that I have advocated for years.
Look at our children. They're the sickest children in the world. Congressman DeLauro, you say that you've worked for 20 years on getting food tie out. Give me credit. I got it out in 100 days.
Give you that credit.
All right, so let's work together and do something that we all believe in, which is have healthy kids in our country, for God's sake.
And in the second round, it's Norma, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, Torres, taking on Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy.
The administration undermined that by offering deferred resignations to controllers. And at least 400 of them responsible for maintaining air traffic control systems were fired, resulting in delays to much needed upgrades.
We have not fired, haven't let any one air traffic controller go. We said to be like 400 go. No one in air traffic control has been allowed to take a deferred resignation offer. We have preserved all of our safety critical mission positions, including air traffic controllers.
Yeah, they look like they read every question. They can't memorize anything. Isn't that their job? All right, in the final fight of the night, Eric Fang Swalwell gets smoked by DHS Secretary Kristi Noem.
2 weeks ago, your agency deported a 4-year-old American citizen in a stage 4 cancer battle. What are you doing to get him back to the country so he can get his treatment?
Congressman, this mother wished to keep her family together and to take her child with her. So as every single person is given the opportunity to, medical care is given throughout the process.
Okay. Do you believe you have a right to deport a U.S. citizen?
That mother chose to keep her family together, and that is what President Trump is focused on.
That's not the facts of the case.
Yes, it is the facts.
Madam Secretary, moving on,
Confirmed that she wanted to keep her child with her, and our families and parents are given that ability to keep their children with them when they return to their home countries.
Here to weigh in, Florida Congressman and gubernatorial candidate in Florida, Byron Donalds. Congressman, I'm watching these individuals, and I'm thinking, first of all, what a waste of taxpayer dollars that the salary of those congressmen is paid, because they clearly have staff who write everything for them, and they can't think. And one after another, Trump's cabinet officials comes in and is like, no, that's not correct. This is what the truth is. What's the mood up there in Capitol Hill? Is it just desperation? Because it looks like it.
Full desperation. Look, the Democrats really don't have any leadership. They don't know where to take their party. Are they going to moderate? Are they going to become more progressive? Are they going to stay in Democrat status quo? They don't know. And so all they have is the lash out factor, doing these types of hearings, raising the craziest things that don't actually matter, getting caught in the weeds on weird people like Kilmar Garcia. Like, that's now the poster child for what's deportations are going to look like in the United States. The Democrats are going to take that side of the argument.
Speaking of that, Congressman Swalwell had a bit of a fit over the photo of Abrego Garcia's hands. Watch.
You agree, though, that this is doctored, is that right?
The same protocols that are
Madam
applied
Secretary,
to every
I want you to have credibility, and
enforcement.
I want you to be taken seriously.
I am taken quite seriously.
Is it doctored or not doctored?
The importance that the president has given me to do.
I understand. Madam Secretary, I have a 7-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 3-year-old. I have a bull detector. I'm just asking you, is this doctored or not doctored?
So the picture was translating the symbols on the knuckles. Mm-hmm. So it was saying M, this stands for M, this stands for S. So when he's saying it's doctored, he literally knows he's lying.
Yeah, he does.
But he does it anyway.
Let me help my colleague who has no credibility. That picture has what's called a caption. The caption is to explain what the tattoo means, so everybody in our country has the same piece of information. President Trump ran on and won on deporting criminal illegal aliens. That's what he's doing. But when you do that, it completely destroys the narrative of the Democrat Party over the last couple of decades, which calls for completely leaving our borders unsecured and allowing anybody in the country. So they're left trying to defend the indefensible. So if they continue to do this, they're going to lose. But that's okay because they have no policy. They have no strategy. Republicans have the solution for the future of this nation, and commend the cabinet of President Trump. He has chosen great cabinet officials who are pushing back, and they're winning the war.
And I think they're getting better and better.
Yes.
I mean, when you get into a new job, it's tough in the beginning, but you can see like Duffy, these guys they're really starting to, get in the groove of the job and getting much more comfortable and much more confident. And I saw that on display versus the Democrats, who seem to be getting less confident and less competent as the days go on. Congressman, great to see you as always.
President Donald J. Trump has achieved more in the effort to strengthen and restore America than any president in American history. Under his leadership, the country is witnessing bold action, renewed patriotism, and a commitment to putting Americans first. Yet, despite these accomplishments, Democrats in the House and the Senate, along with their allies in the liberal media, push a narrative that paints him as a danger to our country, our Constitution, and democracy itself. It's not just misleading, it's deeply disappointing. As someone who was once proud to call myself a Democrat, I can hardly recognize the party today. The level of hatred directed at President Trump is so extreme, it seems to blind them to the very real progress that's being made right this very moment. That's not just sad, it's also dangerous. Still, if they continue down this path, doubling down on radical ideology and out-of-touch agendas, it may very well be the undoing of a political party in our lifetime. It's the same mindset that cost them control of all three branches of government. And if they don't change course, they may never, ever again regain power in our lifetime. And from where I stand, I'm here to tell you that that's actually a great thing. You had many places to be tonight. You chose to be here with me, and for that, I'm forever grateful. Thank you very, very much. I was unable to do the show on Tuesday because we had a family member that graduated from high school, and so that was a wonderful thing to go out of town and experience and be a part of that as a family celebration. There's a lot of you that are having your family members, whether it's your own children or grandchildren, or uncles, nieces, aunts, cousins, you name it. They're graduating right now from high school as well as college. And that's great. That's wonderful too. So all of you out there, whether you're a grad or you're someone who has a grad in your family, congratulations. Job well done. Keep it up. Former top officials from the Biden administration, the last 4 years of chaos, are now admitting that they're very impressed with Donald Trump's bold moves this week during his historic tour of the Middle East. In a dramatic policy shift, Trump announced on Tuesday he would be lifting U.S. sanctions on Syria before meeting with Syrian interim president on Wednesday, yesterday, becoming the first U.S. president to meet with a Syrian president in 25 years. He also secured, you ready for this, a $600 billion commitment from Saudi Arabia to invest in the United States, and agreed to sell Saudi Arabia an arms package worth nearly $142 billion. Axis spoke to several top Biden administration officials about Trump's foreign policy moves, which have astounded even some of his harshest critics. Gosh, I wish I could work for an administration that could move that quickly, one of the officials admitted. It's hard not to be similarly terrified at the thought of the damage he can cause with such power and awed by his willingness to brazenly shatter so many harmful taboos. Rob Malley, former special envoy to Iran under Biden, said. He does all this, and it's kind of silence. It's met with a shrug. Ned Price, the former Secretary Department spokesperson for the Biden administration, added. He has the ability to do things politically that previous presidents did not, because he has complete understanding, unquestionable authority of the Republican caucus. Trump's visit to the Middle East is his first major overseas trip since retaking the White House. The White House says he hopes to strengthen strategic partnership in the region for stability and economic prosperity. Trump said Tuesday during a speech in Saudi Arabia that he was dropping U.S. sanctions on Syria implemented under ousted President Bashar Assad in order to give them a chance at greatness. In Syria, they've had their shared traversity, war, killing for many years. That's why my administration has already taken the first steps towards restoring normal relations between the United States and Syria for the first time in more than a decade, Trump said. Former Obama administration official Tommy Victor and Ben Rhodes held the move of their great Pod Save the World podcast yesterday. It's a very big deal, Victor said. So I think Trump deserves a lot of credit for his decision. It was politically difficult, but it's unequivocally the right thing to do. It's so clearly the right decision, Rhodes agreed. I don't know why Joe Biden didn't do this. I don't like Trump's motivation for a lot of the things he does, Rhodes added. But one thing you will say is he's not tied to his constant fear of some bad faith right-wing attacks or stupid blog types. We don't do this. We must leverage the sanctions for blah, blah, blah. No, sometimes you just have to try something different. Then today, Trump arrived at his final stop on his tour, the United Arab Emirates, becoming the first U.S. president to travel to the nation in nearly 20 years. So we now have former Biden officials, former Obama officials coming out and praising Donald Trump for the bold actions that he's taken. Yet, when you listen to the Democrat members of the House and the Senate and their narrative, fake news, spreading ideology bullshit of CNN and MSNBC and all the left-wing media, and especially some of the left-wing nut jobs that are on places like YouTube and Rumble and other social media sites that are spreading fake, false information from these people. Members of Congress that stare in front of a camera and lie their ass off. It is absolutely astounding to me that they keep doing this. And they believe that the majority of the American people will believe what they say and not do their own homework. Well, sadly, there is a good portion of those that are liberal Democrats that don't do their own homework, that do just listen to what they say and believe that. Sadly, there are several people out there that share with me, that send me links to these far left sites on, for instance, YouTube, and because that particular person is doing the same thing I do, by the way, except they're giving their liberal spin on shit, because they have 1 million followers or 1.8 million or 2 million followers, they believe that what they say is the gospel when it's not. Just a few days ago, one of my friends, who happens to be a liberal, shared with me something from the Midas Touch. You all might have heard about them. They have over 1 million followers, and it's a lot of far left ideology type, the way they put things out there. And they shared a clip of a congressman talking about all the things in the latest bill that is being passed by the Republicans that will be signed by Trump, about how all the things Trump promised to do if elected president aren't in there. Said that there's no provision for waitresses and waiters to be tax-free on their tips, and many other things. I'm not going to go into all of them, but basically it was all these things that Trump promised, and they're not there. And here's the deal. That clip that they shared, I don't know when it was done. Okay, I just don't know. I know that it wasn't done after the final bill came forward, because all that is in there. Everything that Trump promised is in the final bill that's going in front of Congress, to include a huge pay raise for our men and women in uniform. And no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security. Okay, all these things this person claimed, a member of Congress, a Democrat member of Congress, said isn't there. So yes, that is a legitimate clip, and that person did say this, and maybe at the time that was the case. Because any bill, as it's going up and Congress is trying to get together on both sides of the aisle to determine what's going to be in it or not in it, there's back and forth. You know, they're putting, whether it's a Democrat or Republican administration, they're putting things in and taking things out, putting things in. It's a back and forth that goes on for quite some time until the final version of it is there. So this clip was probably from weeks ago. Again, I don't know the exact date, but they put it out as if it just happened. It's breaking news that all the promises Donald Trump made to his base, he's failing to actually do. And their proof was this bill that's about to be signed by the president. So that is misleading. And sadly, those that follow those type people don't do their homework and figure it out. Now, look, I'm on the right side of the politics thing. I'm not a far righter, okay? I'm not one of those on the far right. The far right is just as crazy and screwed up as the far left is. I don't like either one of them. I think they're nut jobs. But the far left votes Democrat. The far right votes Republican. I like to consider myself kind of in the middle of this, more of an independent than anything else. I am a former Democrat. My family is deep rooted in the Democrat Party for many, 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 many years, way before I was even considered, or even my parents for that matter. And it wasn't until later in life as an adult, after I went into the military, that I switched parties, when I realized that the Democrat Party really did not give a two shits about the military. And I realized that the first thing that Democrats cut, and you follow politics, you will realize this. The first thing they cut when they take over is the military budget, to take that money and put it on other pet projects. And as a member of the military, I saw this and realized that this is nuts. My job is, the job of the military is to fight wars. And how are we going to fight wars if you're taking away the money from us, and then you're still going to send us to go fight wars? And then as time went on, I realized that the Democrat Party was being hijacked by far left liberal ideology. And I said, I don't want no part of that. So a lot of people will say that I'm a conservative insurrectionist, or I'm a right-wing nut job, or that I only trash the Democrats. I don't trash the Republicans, or, it's just, you've seen it. It's all over social media, the stupid shit that they say about Doug Ducote on my show. All right. But if they had even the slightest intelligence, and they actually watch what's coming out of my mouth in my show, they'd realize that I call out anyone we send to Washington, D.C. to represent we the people. I don't care if they're a Republican or a Democrat. I'm on record calling out Republican members of Congress a lot, to include things that I don't like about what a Republican president is doing. And we're actually going to talk about something coming up here in just a few minutes that Trump is doing that I don't get it. All right. And I'm sure many of you will feel the same way that I am about this, but we're going to discuss that in a minute. But anyhow, the point I'm trying to get here is that, I really disliked Obama when he was president. But there were some things that Obama did that actually were good for the country and good for we the people. And when he would do things that were positive, I would talk about it. I would give him kudos, give him, give him a pat on the back where it's due, for crying out loud. All the negative things happening and the negative things he was doing, when he did something good, let's at least acknowledge that. Where so many on the right, especially the far right, would not do that. In fact, they would make up shit about Obama. And that was upsetting to me. I'd come right here on this show and I'd tell people, you don't need to make up things about Obama. You can really talk about the actual things he's doing that are bad. Don't make up lies. The same thing goes for when Bill Clinton was president. Same thing goes for when Joe Biden was president. There's so many things that were bad. Why make up shit? And that's what's happening right now with Donald Trump. There are many things that the left could be saying about Donald Trump that's legit, that's real, things right out of his own mouth, staring into a camera. But no, instead of that, they make up shit, especially those in the House and the Senate on the Democrat Party, the Democrat members of Congress. They're literally making up things and spinning what's really happening and trying to pull smoke and mirrors and make you believe that it's just the opposite. Well, with the internet and cell phones, if you're walking around and you're unplugged from reality with what's happening out there in the cyber world, well, that's your own fault, because it's all there for you to do your own homework and figure it out on your own. And if you don't have that capability, I'm sorry, but don't start talking shit when you don't know the facts. And sadly, that's what's happening. It's happening more and more in this country. And there are people out there, You know, I've only got about 120 something thousand subscribers on my YouTube channel, but across all my social media platforms, I have a little over 1.6 million followers of this show. But there are those out there that have 1 million followers on just YouTube, for instance, and through all their social media platforms have 8, 9, 10 million people listening to the crap they're saying and believing it's factual when it's not. So we leave it at that. I think you understand where I'm going with this. A federal judge on Tuesday agreed with the Trump administration that they can invoke the Alien Enemies Act to deport criminal illegal immigrants, members of the Venezuelan gang, now designated terrorist organization, Tren de Agua. But that has not given adequate prior notice to subjects to removal before those deportations can take place, which would allow possible due process and habeas illegal challenges. The 43-page ruling by U.S. District Judge Stephanie Haynes conflicts with other rulings by other liberal Democrat activist judges challenging the administration's deportation efforts. Having done its job, the court now leaves it to the political branches of the government and ultimately to the people who elected those individuals to decide whether the laws and those executing them continue to reflect their will, the judge wrote. Meaning that this now does not have to go to the Supreme Court. This judge stopped it in the appeal process, like all the other judges that are far left, liberal, Democrat, activist judges that are challenging every damn thing Donald Trump does. I mean, it's mind-boggling. It's if Trump takes a shit, they want to fucking file a lawsuit that he didn't wipe enough. I mean, it's nuts to listen to the crap they're doing. And then the administration appeals it. And if they lose on the appeal, then it goes to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court's going to rule with the Trump administration because they know that these liberal nut jobs are just that. They're liberal nut jobs. And sadly, there are Supreme Court justices that are liberal nut jobs too, that are just spewing bullshit out of their mouth if you pay any attention to them. All right. Trump issued an executive order on March 14th, invocation of the Aliens Enemy Act regarding the invasion of the United States by these gang members. Tuesday's ruling was confined to Venezuelan aliens who are not naturalized or lawful permanent residents, 14 years of age or older, and have been specifically designated as part of a foreign terrorist organization. Earlier this month, another judge stated that he would not prevent the administration from deporting individuals in the U.S. illegally, but that the Alien Enemies Act could not be used as a basis to expel alien gang members from the country. Just the fact that you're a federal judge and you're siding with fucking gang members that are here to do harm and damage to American citizens, you're one sick, twisted son of a bitch. It blows me away. The question that this lawsuit presents is whether the president can utilize a specific statute, the AEA, to determine the removal of Venezuelan aliens who are members of these terrorist gangs. U.S. District Court Judge Fernando Rodriguez Jr. wrote in his order, as to that question, the historical record renders clear that the president's invocation of the AEA through the proclamation exceeds the scope of the statute in this country to the plain, ordinary meaning of the statute terms, the order states. So, all these federal judges, as I've told you before on this show, they're going to be shut down. And some of them are actually being arrested right now. They're physically being arrested and put in jail because they're harboring illegal aliens. Okay, I don't know if you heard about this. This is breaking just prior to me coming on tonight. Remember that stupid son of a bitch right there? That'd be James Comey, the former director of the FBI. Well, the Secret Service is investigating him right now because of a post he put on Instagram, a photo of seashells that he arranged in the sand with the numbers 8, 6, and 4, 7. A message that White House officials and anybody with common sense swiftly condemned as an attempt to put out a hit against the 47th president. That's right. The former director of the FBI, James, I'm a fucking moron, Comey, did this. Comey then later deleted the post after online backlash from lawmakers, government officials, even President Trump's own son, and millions of those that voted for Trump saying, you're calling for the assassination of Trump. Trump, as we know, has faced 2 assassination attempts, one of which resulted in him actually being shot. The post included the alleged hit, showed the numbers in question etched into the sand at a beach using seashells. Cool shell formation on my beach walk, Comey captioned in today's post. While to some people the numbers appear innocent, 86 is frequently used as a call sign for murdering or getting rid of someone. You're going to 86 you. While 47 means the 47th president of the United States. Following backlash on social media over the post, including from at least one lawmaker who called for Comey to be arrested, the FBI, the ex-FBI chief deleted the post that he shared on Instagram and put up a message addressing it. He said, I posted earlier a picture of some shells I saw today on a beach walk, which I assume was a political message. You lying piece of garbage. You want people to believe that you're just walking along the beach and you come across, written in the sand with seashells, 8647. Comey then said, I didn't realize some folks associate those numbers with violence. You're the former director of the FBI, and you don't know what 86 and somebody means? You take down this picture. I'm just sick of looking at that piece of fucking garbage. It never occurred to me, but I oppose violence of any kind, so I took the post down. Shortly after Comey removed the post, news media outlets started learning from a source in the Secret Service that they were aware of the matter and will be sending agents to James Comey's house to have a conversation with him. The FBI, where Comey used to work before he was fired by Trump during his first term, had no comment on the matter, but it was also apparent that people at the top levels of the agency were aware of the post as well. Trump's new FBI director, Kash Patel, acknowledged on X that agency personnel were aware of Comey's post on his social media site as well as on X. While we are in communication with the Secret Service, and the director, Patel said, Primary jurisdiction is with the Secret Service on these matters, and we, the FBI, will provide all necessary support. The ex-FBI chief's social media slip-up harkens back at the incident in February of 2020 involving comedian and actor John Murney during an opening monologue with Saturday Night Live. Murney made a joke referencing Trump and the assassination of Roman dictator Julius Caesar, which ultimately prompted an investigation by the FBI at that time. Another thing that happened under Julius Caesar, he was such a powerful maniac that all of the senators grabbed knives and they stabbed him to death. That would be an interesting thing if we brought that back now, the comedian said, in part to laughter from the Saturday Night Live audience. In response to Comey's post, the White House swiftly condemned Comey's actions, with White House Deputy Chief of Staff Cabinet Secretary Taylor Bonswitz called the move deeply concerning. While President Trump is currently on an international trip to the Middle East, the former FBI director puts out what can clearly be interpreted as a hit on the sitting president of the United States. The message etched in the sand, Bonswitz wrote on X, is deeply concerning to all of us and is being taken seriously. Meanwhile, Representative Tim Burchett of Tennessee, who was endorsed by Trump in 2024, wanted to go a step further and is calling for the arrest of James Comey. Look, we all do stupid shit. I'll be the first person to say that I have made some posts on social media without thinking first of the consequences of what I was posting. If I had $1 for every time my wife sent me a text or came from the other room and said, what you just put on Facebook or what you just put on Instagram or what you just put in the community section on YouTube is not appropriate, you weren't thinking about the consequences of your actions, I could take us all on a trip to Hawaii for a week and pay for all of it, okay? Because I see something and I read it and I find it funny and I want to share it with people. And then later I realized that, that was kind of stupid, all right? And I'm a former law enforcement officer besides my military service, so I know better, all right? But I've never, ever posted something calling for someone to be assassinated. Now, I've told people right here on text messages that if you keep up your actions, I'm going to come beat the shit out of you with my hands, physically hurt you for attacking my wife and my children. All right? That's something a little different because I mean that. If you want to say horrible, nasty things about me, I don't give a shit. You just make a fool out of yourself. But when you go after my wife or my special needs child, I just soon beat the shit out of you. That's how I grew up. I'm old school, all right? I'm an alpha male. You want to keep it up? Well, we go back behind the building and take care of business. And I bet you won't do it again. I mean, I could sue you for the things you do, but why spend that money and drag this shit out forever? I just soon go beat your ass and we'd be done with this. We can shake hands and dust it off, and we can be best of friends from that point on. Or not. It's up to you. Either way, James Comey is the former director of the FBI, who we already know lied and did all kinds of crap with the whole thing with the Russia collusion deal. They knew the dossier was fake, and they still pushed it as reality. That's how much he hated Donald Trump. So that's a special kind of stupid to be the ex-FBI director former FBI director, and make a joke calling for the assassination of the sitting president. So I hope they do arrest James Comey. We will see. All right. Now, I want to talk for a minute. I told you earlier that there are things that Donald Trump does that I go, why? Why? And it's not just Trump. I did it with Biden. I did it with every president since I was able to freaking talk and listen to what comes out of their mouth. All right. And this is one of those things that I just have trouble wrapping my head around. Now, I'm going to share this with you, and then I've got the solution to it. How Donald Trump can fix this. Not that he cares, because he doesn't give a shit what the Democrats say, obviously. All right. So, Donald Trump has doubled down on his highly criticized plan to accept a luxury Boeing jet from Qatar, claiming that the free gift will save the United States money that can instead be spent to make America great again. The Boeing 747 is being given to the United States Air Force and Department of Defense, not to me. It is a gift from the nation, Qatar, that we have successfully defended for many, many years, Trump said in his post on social media platform Truth Social, late on Tuesday, May 13th. Is Trump allowed to accept this gift from Qatar? Trump's plan to accept a $400 million airplane from Qatar has raised a lot of questions about laws governing gifts from foreign governments are designed to prevent corruption and undue influence. Legal experts are now speaking out, especially on Reuters and the AP. There are two provisions in our United States Constitution that place restrictions on the president receiving a gift, any gift from any foreign country that's more than, I think it's $480. Yeah, it's $480. Can't do it unless Congress says, okay. All right. So it's in the Constitution. He gave the Democrats and the liberals some free ammunition to attack him on something. Now, I get why Trump's doing it, because Boeing is failing big time, right? Back when Trump was president the first time, he ordered that Boeing build a new Air Force One because we need one. We don't need this old airplane. It's outdated and they're having a lot of maintenance issues with it and keeping up. I mean, there's a reason why United and Delta and American Airlines, they no longer fly 747s because it's an old, outdated airplane and it costs a hell of a lot of money to operate. So now Trump's back in office again, and guess what? Boeing still hasn't finished that freaking airplane. It's been 8 years, and that airplane is nowhere near being completed. Well, Qatar knew about this. Qatar has a brand new 747 from Boeing that's like a palace in the sky. That they said, we give you this as a gift. And Trump said, well, I can't take it as a gift, but you can gift it to our government. And in return, when I'm done with office, I'll donate it to a museum. Well, the left got a hold of this. The left-wing news media outlets, CNN, MSNBC, And they just went batshit crazy, because if you look at the Constitution, it's plainly obvious that a president of the United States cannot accept a gift more than $480 from a foreign country unless it is approved by Congress. So the way Trump is navigating around what the Constitution says is by not accepting it as a personal gift for himself. A gift to we the people via the government or the Department of Defense. And Trump's already said, which makes sense, it won't be used as Air Force One anyhow. Okay, that's not even a possibility because of all the things that would have to be done to it Air Force One, the new one is already in its process of being built. You can't just take a foreign government 747 and turn it into what the president's going to be on, for crying out loud. So they're all up in arms about this freaking jet. And I get it. And I'm the biggest defender of the Constitution you're going to find. It's not in the Constitution. Can't do it. And then there are people that interpret the Constitution for their own political benefits. And I call that shit out. All right. So I understand why Trump accepted it on behalf of the government, not as a personal gift to him. Although the Democrats up in Washington, D.C. don't give a shit about that. They're not going to tell the truth about that part of the story. So legal scholars are all over the board with this on whether or not this is a legal thing to do or not do. All right. Trump's saying, look, let's save America billions of dollars and just accept this freaking gift of this airplane and do whatever we want to do with it. All right. So I get that. It's like Doge cutting all the crap out of our government. All that being said, just shut the Democrats down like that by turning to the Speaker of the House and saying, pass a bill allowing this gift to be accepted. End the story, stick a fork in it, it's over and done, and the Democrats can scream and holler all they fucking want, because that's all they're saying is it's violating the Constitution. All right? Forget what legal scholars say, that it's okay, that it's not okay. Just put it all, squash it, put it away. Be done with this story. It's been going on for over a week now. And either don't accept the jet or just have the Republicans, they're in charge of the House and the Senate. Get them together, explain your rationality. They're all, first off, I haven't heard a single Republican come out and say up in Washington, D.C. that we don't want this. So get together, pass your bill. All the Democrats will not approve it. The Republicans have the majority. They will approve it. And it's done. Over with. Shut them up. And of course, the House Democrats decided they're going to open an investigation into this $400 million private jet from Qatar. Representative Jamie Raskin, the ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee, led his fellow Democrats on the panel in a letter to Attorney General Pam Bondi and Washington Counsel David Warrington on Thursday, saying that they're going to open an investigation into this. We don't even have the jet yet. We have not accepted the jet yet. So shut him down before he wastes millions of dollars of American taxpayer money for an investigation that doesn't even need to happen, because Congress can go ahead and approve it and be done with it and be done with Raskin. It's a simple. It's just simple. It's not rocket science. Don't accept the jet or allow Congress to do their job and approve it. Done. We have this $400 million jet. New polls are out showing that Trump's approval rating is edging up. Trade deals with the UK and China. Remember how when Trump talked about the tariffs and he put them in play, and the Democrats up in Washington, D.C., and the liberals went batshit crazy. He's destroying the country. Our economy is going to tank. It's all over with. Prices are going to go through the roof, you know. And the Trump administration said, bullshit. Why should we have to pay a tax on our products, but they don't have to with us? We're either going to be paying the same thing or nothing at all. And the country said basically, fuck you. We're not going to deal with you. So Trump went, okay, well, fuck you. And slapped this tariff on them. Then they all went, oh shit, now what do we do? Because it will ruin their countries. Ruin them. Even China. So all these countries ran to the White House, flew to the White House, took ships to the White House, whatever, to sit down and work out a deal because it's only fair. Why should we have to pay to sell our products a tax in their country, but they don't have to do the same thing to us? Or we have to pay more than they have to pay. It's only fair. Fair trade, right? That's what this was all about. All these scare tactics of how that's it. America's destroyed because Trump's doing this. All these countries came forward and said, and of course, before all that happened, in the middle of all this, those in the economic world, the powers that be, the stock market, all those analysts flipped the hell out with fear-mongering crap. And the stock market went horrible. And the liberals and the Democrats were like, I told you, see what would happen and see what happened. And then once they realized that, no, these countries are coming forward going, we'll work a deal with you. Either zero or we pay the same thing. The only country that held out was China. So then the Democrats and the liberals hung on to that and went, oh, look, China, they're not going to give into this. They're not going to cave in. We're still going to be screwed because look how many products in America come from China. Good gosh, if you're in your house, look on the bottom of it, everything says made in China, for crying out loud. So they used that talking point, how it's going to destroy our economy. And what's happening now? China realized when Trump said, I'm not going to stop this, and tripled the tariff on them. They're now at the negotiation table. So all the fear-mongering of the left and the Democrats up in Washington, D.C. was just that, fear-mongering. Donald Trump is one step, if not 50, ahead of everybody else. He's not a threat to democracy. He's not destroying the country. And eventually, all this shit comes out to be factual of what I'm saying. So, to the left out there that tune in all the time just to come up with ways to say that I'm full of shit, you got egg on your face. Because last time I checked, gas prices are coming down, and so are egg prices and everything else. Are there going to be some pains we're going to feel? Of course. It's going to be ups and downs, but the stock market went boom. And I like that. My stocks are looking freaking great right now. They weren't a few weeks ago, but they are now. And that makes me a very, very happy person. So because of this, his approval ratings are now coming back up. So that being said, where are we at right now? Trump currently stands at 44% approval rating right now. That's freaking great. I mean, that's really good. And we're only 150 days in. And that's what his ratings are? But if you were to listen to those on the left, Trump's destroying us. We're all going to be homeless tomorrow. Yeah. Good luck with that. And of course, we have this problem with Iran. I've already told you how I feel, how we need to finish this, get this done and over with. Trump has a different idea. He's made some very good threats towards them on what they're going to do. And if they don't, they're going to suffer the military wrath of the United States military. And he just recently told them that they're going to stop supporting the Houthis, and which are attacking our U.S. warships in the Persian Gulf area, or trying to. They're not actually hitting them. They're launching drones and all kinds of shit supplied by Iran. Basically said, pull out now, or we're going to pull out of this negotiation deal on the nuclear stuff, and we're just going to bomb the fuck out of you. Well, guess what Iran did today? They cut off all support to those terrorist organizations, the Houthis. And guess what also Donald Trump managed to do? Get the last American held hostage by Hamas over in Gaza released. There are no more hostages being held there. This is what strength and peace look like. This is what real leadership looks like. Having somebody bold enough to stand up to bullies instead of a weak, old, feeble person that just is walking around and tripping all over themselves and wearing Depends or whatever. I mean, Joe Biden was a fucking mess. I don't know if you heard about it, but, you know, Joe Biden's been personal friends with the actor George Clooney for eons. And during the election, before Biden pulled out and put Harris in that position to go against Trump, there were several Hollywood actors that went and met with Joe Biden. And afterwards, Clooney came out and talked about how Joe Biden's mental capacity wasn't all there, and it was really sad. And the Hollywood left flipped out. How dare you say something like that? Well, George Clooney just came out today and said, let me tell you how bad it was. Joe Biden didn't know who I was. He didn't recognize me. His friend of many, many years, and one of the most recognized actors on planet Earth. And Joe Biden had to be reminded by his wife, Jill, that that's George Clooney that you're having a conversation with. Your friend, the actor, remember? Yet that administration covered it all up, and their talking heads at CNN and MSNBC went along with it as well, and that's pretty damn sad. Anyway, you have any places to be tonight? You chose to be here with me, and for that, I am forever grateful. I thank you very, very much for joining me tonight. Whether you're watching me on YouTube or Rumble or X, formerly Twitter or LinkedIn, please subscribe. Tell your family and friends about the show. Share my videos, share my podcast on your social media platforms. That's how we spread this. That's how we grow this. And hell, if you think I said something in tonight's show or any of my shows that's not true, be sure to put something in the comments about it or send me a personal message about it. And I'll share with you the factual information that I already shared in the show. And as always, in the description of all my videos, you can see all the places where I got the links, where the links are for all the damn things I talk about. And then I just give you my personal spin on it after I share the story, based on my education and my experience in life. If you don't like it, then change the channel. That's how this works. But the personal attacks, get a fucking life, for crying out loud. Anyway, as always, please say a prayer for our men and women serving in the United States military, our veterans, our law enforcement officers, our first responders, their families, our angel families, our blue and gold star families, and our country. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless each and every one of you. Whatever you're going to be doing this weekend, please be safe. Please look out for yourself and those around you and your family, and make sure you tell those that are important to you how much you love them, because we're not guaranteed another second on this planet. Sadly, we're born to die, and it's going to happen to every damn one of us. Where we go from here, don't know. My faith tells me it's to bigger and better things. So remember, pray. Take care, everybody. God bless you. I'll be back next week on Tuesday. If anything happens between now and then that's of major importance, I'll either do a live broadcast about it or I will put out a video about it. I've got a lot of videos I've been working on that I promise you all I'm going to get out there and get them up posted. We've had so many different things going on with sicknesses and hospital visits and whatnot that I'm way behind the power curve on that. But I will get those videos out there for you all, like the Blue Angels video. I'm working on that right now, hard. I want to get that out there so you all can see it. It's going to be really cool. We went down to Pensacola and spent some time there with the Blue Angels, and I hope that you enjoy it when it gets out there, when I finally put it out there. But I promise you I will, and some other things we've done as well. All right, everybody, take care. God bless you, and I'll see you next week. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening.